phenomenal presenters. They will be here after the presentations.
Hello there, everybody. So I decided to do something a little different today. Does anybody know what tidal cycles is? Alright, so basically it's well, let's go through. It is a programming language where you do live coding for music within it. That probably would have been better if it started as soon as I hit it. Okay. Okay, but going on, it's pretty much, like a live programming language that you run and you write as it go live, and I always wanted to work with it. And I always thought like code generation for something like a live music. Who here has seen AV Club SF before? They're a group that does this. They put on little shows and concerts about it. So I thought this would be a really cool project to try to do generative code of, as opposed to something like Facebook's Music Gen, in which case it creates the music for you. This creates the code that will create the cycles for you. I think a lot of the work this morning is I probably should have done more pre-work in terms of setting it up, going with the super collider. So how it works, sorry, it's very slow right now, is that basically there's a sound engine that they have, super collider, that you, that they put in, sorry, I'm just going through, not the best presentation time, but basically what it is, we're trying to generate this code on the computer to run this stuff with it. And one, there's not a lot of documentation on it, so it, like the original stuff I tried with ChatGPT wasn't that good, so I fine-tuned it on my Works GPU cluster, in which case I can't access that right now. But basically I can show the results of that. This is...
What did you fine-tune it?
Basically I put in Llama, and I gave it a lot of training data in terms of like, these are the VSTs in terms of sounds we have. These are the beats that you want to put in, and this is the structure that you want to go through. It always happens during presentations.
Is your computer crashing, or is the internet glitching?
I honestly do not know. If it goes down before it, all I want to do is play what it made for me. Real quick, let's see if I can get to it before it goes through. So how it does is this is a sound. Let me turn up the volume. Yeah, and which way to do it, it's like very specific through how it runs through in that, like that's a beat. And as a cycle, you can like compound them upon one another. Like this is super mandolin, and then from that, you go through that. And now let me just, not the greatest, but it's interesting that they put out back through it. There we go. And then stuff like this where like all I want to do is have a return for this and stuff like that. That like you play this and you would let code stuff different. Like you could turn this into like a G, if not like that. Like you would turn stuff like that into like a G6, overrun it, and it goes through. Like add stuff like 9 and it like takes a code snapshot and it overwrites it. Having it be able to write more things like this is like the next part of it. But yeah, stuff like that, that's the sort of code that I wanted. Alright, Q&A, sorry about that, Q&A time. Alright. No, it's not that common, but this is also written in Haskell, by the way. I think it's a really cool project. That I think it would be nice to put in something where like if you have like a front-end interface to it, like bring me something funky or bring me a cycle that goes through it automatically deploying and going through it. That's the sort of stuff. And then the second part of it would be the sound engine, in which case it actually gets a sound. You have to write code like this in the background, in which like where do you put the sound, where do you get the VSTs from it, and do you want any like audio drip from it, all that jazz from it. So it's like code upon code. And that's why I think would be a cool generation project that like I made some headway here, but not a finished project in terms of something I really want to like be like, oh, here's the model, put it out, and like we can do it automatically. Maybe next time at next hackathon, but yeah.
Yeah, can I see the fine-tuning data?
That's on my like computer.
Okay.
Can I put it? I can put that in at the end of the night, or like once I go back. But yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I'm just curious. Is it a JSON file with this kind of
Yeah, stuff related. That was the hardest part. But yeah, I will message you on Slack with that specifically, Jeremy. All right.
Any questions?
Oh, I'll start in the back.
I've used Super Collider before. Confusing a little bit, but I guess how are you mixing that with the other library?
I haven't used Super Collider with code generation yet. I just used basics in terms of this is the sound that we go through. That's like the next step I want to go through in terms of code can mix up the sound like this. You can go into the really back end of the code. Because I also find Super Collider confusing. I'd go to a lot of forum posts and like make sure like this is the sound you want. But yeah.
Okay, cool. So I guess the code for this is the same as the other code you have?
Oh no, the other like the pulsar code in terms of I give it a format in terms of like for this cycle, this sound, give me like a cool chord or whatever. For this in the background, this stuff is hard coded. The stuff that I got to do at the end, this is generated. If a little if a little spruced up, if the format was not great, but I think that's fine. But yeah. Right. Any other questions?
Yeah.
Thank you.
More questions?
Oh, sorry.
Give people time.
All right, any other questions?
Really? Everyone understands. No one's curious. How do I do this myself? Actually, I'm curious. Like this particular format of like music gen, I've never seen it before.
I found it at a show and I thought it was like really cool because it was like live coding and music. And it's the sort of thing that like, I think that could be really cool because stuff like Facebook's music gen does take time to like go through, to fine tune and such. If you could go to a show and give it a word like, give me something quirky or give me something ravey, and it gives you something back that you can just plug in and play and then like see through, that can be like a really audience interaction for an actual show, which I think would be really cool and fun. Sorry, question, yeah.
So can I find existing music in this format?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Look up Pulsar and Super Collider.
Is it all ambient?
Cycles. It's mostly synths. There are even people who put stuff like mandolins or other VSTs onto there, but it was like a synthwave project in a way that I think you can add more stuff to. But yeah, the real Tidal Cycles, Super Collider, and Pulsar. Those are the three things you need to look up to do it.
I was just gonna say, there's this other DJ Dave, that does this type of coding as well, and she's super cool. She does tons of cool stuff as well.
I'll look her up. Yep.
Can you DJ our next party?
Of course. I'll hit you up on Slack.
Cool.
Got it. All right. Any other questions? Oh, sorry.
Can you generate more like story-based music, like classical, and like that kind of stuff?
I think eventually, yes. But yeah, that's a good thing. That's definitely on the roadmap and like my inner brain. But yeah. Okay.